the comments because I hate to be distracted and people ask me questions while I'm talking. When I'm done talking, that's when I able to answer questions. Okay. Now I got the chat comments hidden on my end, so whatever y'all type it, I don't see it. Okay. Negrito Grande, who goes to Mexico a lot, respond to this thing about why black hate Mexicans and also put vice versa. And some Mexican American Latino woman was asking that she loved the non-white racist people, races of people, and she don't understand why the Mexican what I done to you, whatever. And I ask the same question when I hear Latinos who are Mexican descent or any other Hispanic origin. I am Hispanic, Spanish Creole. Because Louisiana, we had Spain, Creole had Spain, and that, Riala is one of my last names in the family tree. Okay, not my personal last name, but my fourth grandfather shares the name Rial. So yo soporte el Hispanico también, okay? And it took me a while to find the research, but that one drop rule mess, the white man messed up in our identity. That's why we different some deep shit in our community. But y'all keep hold on to white master's rule. Talking about you hate white master, but you hold on to his rule that kept you in slavery and Jim Crow. Okay. Anyway, there's no longer a law anymore since 1967 with love Virginia case and law enriched marriage to be legalized. I'm part of the multiracial movement, so that people know. Okay. Sorry to speak fast. I like to get things in one bottle. Okay. I don't like to talk slow. And I'm sleep right now. I need to get high on caffeine. I should give me some coffee. Do I have some coffee left? Okay, I might want me some coffee so I can talk and concentrate at the same time. Coffee does help you concentrate. That's why I be talking like that. I'm like, are you high? No, I don't do illegal drugs. I do caffeine. I drink coffee. I drink caffeinated teas. Okay, especially Gata Cool or whatever, that's mixed with ginseng. I just said with ginkgo biloba helps you concentrate and everything. Those are my herbs. I don't go no drug dealer. My drug dealer is Whole Food store and sometimes Kroger's at the herbal part of the teas and coffee. Thank you, Starbucks coffee. You can make your own Starbucks coffee at home. Okay, wasting all that damn money at Starbucks. Okay. Um. Anyway, so I need to make some espresso because I'm so tired right now. I might have to break on the video while and continue to talk because I need to make my coffee, my drug in a few minutes. Okay, that's my weed. That's my crack. It's the coffee and caffeine. No, I don't do weed or kush or crack or none of that junk. I'm very drug free, illegally drug free. Okay. Anyway, call it like it is. So Negrito Grande's respond about his experience in California, and I just didn't like the video because it didn't give it a historical reason why there's black on brown racism. Okay, this that you was missing, Negrito Grande. Um, you need to stop miseducating people that we're not pure black. Okay, I'm not with one drop in black nationalist, Marcus Garvey bullshit. I'm with the W. Du Bois situation. I'm with the multiracial movement. We're mixed. I don't care what people see me as. Okay, if someone see me as a monkey or whatever, you tell them go around and ooh, okay, stupid. You can't let the oppressor ideology run your ass. And America is compared to the whole country, it's big, but it's not a big country. Or it's the richest country in the world, but not everybody in the whole world follows that ideology. So, and speaking of having Mexican immigrants as friends, that who are not Americanized, that's why I have friends with actually my last girlfriends in the past was from Mexico. Okay, not Chicana. Okay, but we're gonna talk about that. To the Mexican woman who's 19, American by citizen, but she's Mexican the first generation, or she came here, you know, as an immigrant. My heart goes out to you. You want to know why it's black and white. One thing is called white American, uh, brainwash American with 3 Ks on both communities. A lot of African American descended people and Latino people, Hispanic people of Mexican origin who are here don't know their history of us being together. White racist people teach separate history of that. You want to know why I support DACA? because I'm from Texas. And people, you cannot negate the black part of Mexico with Texas, because the second president of Mexico, Vicente Guerrero, and one thing I had disagree with, what's his name, Negrito Grande, Mexicans, I'm sorry, just like I'm black, white, and American, they are too. Okay, whatever in your gene and geology you are, I'm sorry, whatever you are, I'm part white and native too. God dog it, I don't look black as this damn thing on my head. Okay, all right, this is do rag, call it like it is. Because that mix DNA, I'm actually a couple shades lighter than you. Okay, so therefore, now that's two, and your hair is less coarse than mine. Okay, what I mean, have a relaxer in my hair. Okay, call it like this. Okay, that's real. Okay, so you have mixed hairs. I do too. Now, Mexican Americans, when they had the Tri Guadalupe bill, okay, they classified them as white, and other Latinos as well. There weren't just Mexicans here. There were some Puerto Ricans as well, and some few Cubans at the time before 1940 and 50, when and also the 60s when the Fidel Castro situation with Kennedy. Okay, all right. So when Gloria Stefan, shout out to her, love her, came into America. Okay, who's from Cuba. A lot of people are not talking about me being from Texas, that this was a slave state, and why it became a slave state in a country called Republic of Texas, because Vicente Guerrero's anti-slavery law in Mexico in 1829, 1826. Actually, when he emancipated, he emancipated the slaves in 1829, but he made it official the law in 1826. This, a lot of folks, despite Spanish and Native, the third race is African. And a lot of Mexican people who are racist, like one called me the N word when I was talking about Joe Lopez video, okay? Black this dumb culo Afro mestizo high yellow nigga ass. Call like I hate the N word, but don't call me a nigga. Call you, okay, dang, we all got white, black, and native, and I got Spanish in me too. From Spanish Creole, Louisiana, okay? God dog it. And French is okay, God like color this. Okay, now. I got cookies stored in me too. Some real mixed with some black woman down in Louisiana. That's how I got it. Thank you. So, anyway, truth of the matter is, and I'm about to kiss any bitches of any color come on my channel with that bullshit. Called me a wetback lover. Well, you can call me wet black because I'm about to go there. Remember I said the word wet black with an L. Because we was the one who crossed Rio Grande too to get away from Massa in Texas. So going back to what I was saying about Vicente Guerrero, so I had to change up subjects because my mind is running all over the place. I need my caffeine. I'm in withdrawals right now. Okay, when when our African ancestors, African American descendant ancestors, mixed and pure, were forced here in Texas by white Anglo-Saxon slave masters from the South, they rebelled against Mexico's anti-slavery law that said that there should not be any slavery, because they thought that they can practice slavery in Mexico when they should not. They forgot that these Mexicans were mixed. Many was Afro-Mestizo. They didn't use that terminology, but they had mixtures of the, remember, the Las Castas in the colonial part of Mexico. Besides the Spaniards coming there, later on, the colonial part, they brought slaves through Veracruz. Okay, I read a lot of history. Okay, in part of the multiracial movement, there's one thing that I learned was to read the history outside the classroom. Okay, while y'all was learning about y'all was pure black because a white man say so, and y'all would listen to the white race people. And now you see how they talking now Trump is president, and you see how they using the N word in the classroom and doing all this other stuff. I saw that coming from a white school that later became Hispanic, and I saw how my history was being tortured and distorted. I had to go to the library in downtown Houston, and I was talking with people with the multiracial movement who also gave me info on books that it was not taught in school about these subjects. Okay, so when Vicente Guerrero, my hero, died, got killed, I forgot who was the president at the time, but that's when that law remained, and it still remains today. You cannot practice slavery in Mexico. Even the human trafficking going on from those from Central America coming to Mexican border, there's being slaves down there in Mexico, which there's a lot of beef between Salvadorians and Mexicans because of that. that's still illegal, okay? Any type of slavery, okay? So when they banned slavery, Mexico in this part of the Southwest, and I support the idea that this is Mexico. I bash Cat Williams like I bash George Lopez with a racist comments, okay? And George Lopez has African DNA, okay? I already knew that because I read about that when I was in multiracial movie in the 90s and then I was a teenager, okay? Um, the second president's rule remained, okay? And Anglos did not want to follow that law. So, because Gahuila, the government of Mexico, Gahuila, controlled Texas. Texas, Texas, which is Texas. That was the name of it, right? Okay. You can tell I need my caffeine. Okay, sorry, y'all. Okay. I'm about to get hot in a few minutes. I'm about to go make my coffee in a few minutes. Hold on, so I can talk fast and talk and get all energetic, okay? Because it's 11 o'clock. It's 11:29 p.m. Central Time here in Houston. And I'm trying to get to where I work today. I worked in security at an event. And I'm tired. I even went to sleep earlier. I'm still, in fact, trying to work at an event today, okay? Some of y'all probably saw me, okay? I ain't gonna go detail where I work at. Okay, so let's get to this subject, all right? Now, Mexican government, okay, told the Anglos invaders, okay, because Anglo ancestry as well, okay, call it like it is, who did not have no papers coming here from the South, okay, who had no DACA, okay, who came here illegally with partial black and pure black slaves. Told them Anglo white people from the South, you better emancipate these slaves now. The white people wanted them to get compensated for every slave they lost. This is why I support the we call it um reparations, because it was about money. The reason Africans trade their slaves, our African ancestors, to our white ancestor on a ship because of money. It became racial in the Americans because majority of Africans were slaves. That's what became racial. Okay, so it was about money. You have corporations, businesses, and banks, even to this day, that support the private prison complex. They were supporting slavery, so they wanted Mexican government to pay each slave they lost in Texas, in Mexico. Okay, all right. Guess what? The government of Coahuilas, the Mexican said, hell to the no. We are not paying you. Let these people out of your plantation, and they no longer slaves in Mexico. The Anglos like Sam Houston, Fannin, Lamar, who else? Dowling, and all the rest of them got these old thug statues, okay? White racist thug that supported, it was in the Confederate War too, going against the Union. These thugs, that, and even his name Houston, he was a thug, okay? Yes, I went there. All the Fannin and Travis, who else? Stephen Austin, David Crockett, they were supporting slavery. Now, they rebelled. Yes, they had the Tejanos, the Mexican Americans today, descendants who had centuries been here in Texas, okay? Who fought in the war, who betrayed the country. They also had mulattoes who were part black and white, well, black mamas who were slaves, and white plantation owners, slave masters, aka, who fought in the war, and black slaves who could not say nothing had to fight in the war too. Pure blacks, okay? That's the truth. Okay, I remember reading a book, and I forgot about it's written in 1970s. That when I was in El Paso, Texas, I read, it was a children's book about African American history in Texas. And one thing I didn't like how they turned it into, well, these are African Americans. Well, it was Mexico at the time, so those Afro Mexicans in Texas. There's also a video of a Mexican American man in El Paso, which I wish I met him when I was there, but this came out last year, about the Afro Mexicans being in El Paso, Texas. Those who know, in California, besides the native and the mestizos and Afro-Mexicans co-founded Los Angeles. That's no lie. The last Mexican governor, Pia Pico, was partially Afro-Mexican, was Afro-Mestizo. Okay, there is no lie. There's Mexican Americans on C-SPAN. You know, I'm very educated about that. Who's talking about how he had African ancestry? I'm not being no Afrocentric. How I got my info about Mexicans having African ancestry was not from Afrocentric. Yes, it's from the multiracial movement, but also from Chicanos who wrote newspapers. And I ain't talking about Chicanos who don't know the education, okay? They don't have education, who are ignorant and whatever the ones people stereotype as. I'm talking about educated Chicanos who went to school, who was in the military, who was not racist, who had a college degree, who also was trying to stop the black and brown racism, who also admitted they had drop of black DNA, and who wrote in newspapers like Houston Chronicle and Houston Post. Shout out to Richard Rodriguez and Patricia Gonzalez. They used to write for That's How about the Black Seminoles in June 1993 when I was 13 going on 14 years old. I read that article verbatim, and he even said mestizo, not just Spanish, and he mentioned African in that article. Yes, he did. And I knew because when I went to predominantly Hispanic school at the white folks meaning left, you can look into the big lips, the wide nose, the curl pattern. It wasn't kinky, but it had a curl pattern. You know, some of them had, besides the Native American DNA, and they were natives who were dark, you know, they were about my complexion as well. But we also know outside of Native American DNA, this could be a darker mulatto complexion, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's not dark as a black person, like West is not complexion, but you know what I mean? This is, thank you, this camera skin. You had those, you know what I'm saying? So I would look and tell, like, damn. And if you will put some of these people that was going to my school who are Mexican in New York, you might thought they was, you know what I'm saying? I call it like this. Like, for example, we can use Jessica Alba. I thought she was Puerto Rican due to stupidity, but them big lips and her partial black features. But guess what? She's Mexican and white, and she also is Afro mestiza. Yes, the first test on George Lopez said she was more white and native, but the second test she took on PBS, Find Your Rules with Henry Gates Jr. The African DNA on her daddy's side because she has one chromosome, and us men have two chromosomes. So females gotta get a male relative who share their DNA to get their male. Yeah, thank you. Well, guess what? Her daddy's DNA showed like 2% African, whatever. It still was there. You can tell with them big lips. She looked like a yellow bone sister from here. Okay, call like her. So it is what she is, but she's a Latino version of it. It's important, like Veronica Vega, who's Cuban in Venezuela. Thank you. Okay, so if Veronica Vega was born here and was not Hispanic origin, she'll be yellow bone sister too. Okay, call it is. You know, from Love and Hip Hop. But truth of the matter is, that's the reason why. And so in Texas history has been distorted with white Anglo-Saxon Protestant history, pro-white Anglo-Saxon, male, straight, as in heterosexual, pro-heterosexual, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, male, dominant history. That's what we taught. The females are secondary, okay? Who are white, okay? And that's what we're taught in school. And I'm assuming, even though I'm not in California, that even though California's more liberal, it's probably taught there too. And actually, you gotta understand, when they integrated schools in California and all over the United States, many white people pulled their kids out of the integrated schools, and they voted against policies to keep the resources, the learning resources, and also safety and all that. That's why you see schools that look like lean on me, okay? Just like they have in New Jersey, that mess is going on in California, okay? You know, they ain't no Joe Clark in California, but you know what I'm saying? In New Jersey, they still think you had schools, you know, that was terrible in the 80s, and they started coming here in Houston, and actually now it's coming now worse in 2018. They're closed down many Hispanic and African populated schools here in HISD, and that's the reason why. And they're trying to make schools for white kids, and you have to pay a voucher that's so high. Yes, that's going on right now. Yes, it is. So, all right. Anyway, going back to the subject of Mexican Americans. Okay, and there was this before Joe Lopez, there were black and Mexican marriages in Central in South Texas in 1800s, late 1800s. And you gotta understand that the mentality is different. Even I was told that in Corpus they get along down there than in Houston, whatever. Okay, that's what I was told. And actually, yeah, that's true because of the dark skinned brother who's same complexion as Negrito Grande. His mother is a high yellow bone because her dad is Mexican and her mom is African American. His daddy, his father, was his mother's husband or ex-husband. Was dark skinned. He came out with dark skin, but he has both his Anglo black identified dad, his last name, and his mama, his Hispanic last name together. So when he told me I thought he was Dominican, no, he didn't know Dominican. He part Mexican, and he from not San he from Corpus Christi. Yes, one of our heroes, Lucy Gonzalez Parsons. She was married to a white Confederate soldier. Okay, she was a slave. She was Mexican American, African American, and Native American from here, not from Mexico. Only. I say only, okay? Because I know Native American Mexicans have Native American roots, okay? So, anyway, and so she's the one I call Sandra Bland the modern version of because her voice was like the riot was a riot. Okay, they said she was worse than the rioters because her voice was stronger than rioters in Chicago. Remember, her husband did not since she was seen as black, even though she was Mexican and Native American. She married a white man, even passed as non-black one period of time. Um, and they did not, consider they didn't like the interracial marriage, so she had to go to Chicago, and she fought in Chicago. Every people in Chicago know who she is. She fought for immigrant rights of people of color, women, and she was an orator. She was an orator, and that's what I want. You can tell my voice is very strong. I don't need to ride. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So that's one of my heroes. Okay, Lucy Gonzalez Parsons. Now, and even Dr. Danridge. Dr. Danridge, who was like a Cocoa Black Melbourne, but she was mixed. She was light skinned, very exotic. Her mother, Ruby Danridge, was part Mexican, Black Jamaican, and Native American. Her mother was part Mexican American, and Native American from here. And her father was Jamaican, Black Jamaican. That's Dr. Danridge's grandparents. And Dr. Danridge's dad was partially white and partially black from Africa. Okay, not from centuries and doing slavery. Okay, and so what I didn't like about Halle Berry doing that movie was not mentioning her mixed heritage because she's for the one drop rule. Okay, and she did play Mexican roles, and she did play Native American roles, and she did play she played Carmen Jones with Harry Belafonte. So a lot of folks don't know their history, okay? And she's like she was part Mexican too. She actually before she died of an overdose, she was in Mexico doing movies there. When I read that book when my dad gave me 20 years ago about her life. Um, she was a beautiful woman too. Yes, she was. Dark Danvers was a beautiful woman. She was out in Monroe, because that one drop rule classified as black, but she was Mexican, black, white, and native. Okay, call like it is. Okay, so shout out to Dark Danvers. I just like the fact that Halle Berry didn't want to mention her mixed heritage because it would educate the people. Okay, so if they ever do a movie, and if I ever get the funding to do the crowdfunding and the experience and to train to do a movie, I will remake the movie and get someone else to play Dark Damage and actually mention everything about that woman. Okay, I ain't gonna edit it because I support some racist white man's rule. Same woman that had a baby, they call her the N word and talking about her child who looked white, is 100% black. Okay, and mad that he dyed her hair and straighten it like many sisters straighten their daughter's hair. How we both Leos. Me and Halle Berry plays top. I love the fact you played in Queen. You made me that movie her debut in the movie Queen. Halle as Haley that made me want to learn about my multiracial background 13. So that's how I'm so big about the multiracial movement. Back in '93, dang, '93 was a year to learn about multicultural. I started to Harlem Mills. Dang, really. I was 13 at the time. That was a whole do change. That's like eye opening what my adulthood was going to be in the future. Um, Now, when I was a teenager, okay. But let's get to the subject, okay. So when what happened is when they took the Southwest from Mexico, the rest from New Mexico to California, okay. White Anglos, here we go again. And I'm not being anti-white. I got Anglo in me too, okay? I'm black, French, Spanish, Creole, English, Irish, and American. That's my background, okay? But let's say it like it is. They gonna take Mexico away. Trying to kick the Mexican Americans out of here who are citizens, who's already there, and to make them go back to Mexico. They had Tree Guadalupe bill, and that's a lot of folks know during the Tree Guadalupe they also lynch Mexicans. And here in Texas, they lynch Mexicans. Yes, they do. They don't teach it. They don't teach it. Every time you hear a Mexican person who's racist talk about black folks, excuse me, you was lynched too. Okay, Texas Rangers who are white, racist, lynch Mexicans. Also, to the Ku Klux Klan used to wait right there by the border to lynch a Mexican coming here, so-called illegally. Okay, yes, that's no. They don't teach it. Once again, white racist school districts here in America do not teach this stuff in school. Now, when it happened is, of course, the one drop rule and becomes official, okay, because you had different states that had their own one drop rule, okay. Um, because what started it, okay, was the condition of the mother. You was a slave, so a lot of the slave masters was raping. That's many of our ancestors. Some was not always raped, like the movie Queen. Her mama, who was black and American, the Jasmine guy played, okay, in the movie. She was in love with her master. And just like we always compare to those who know it now, like Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton have a son that's partially black, Danny Williams. Y'all already know who he is. He looked like a higher version of Bill Clinton. And what he said that his Coco black mother, who's black from descent, she used to be a prostitute. She slept with Bill Clinton. That here he acts like a slave master's wife who did not like the mixed race kids. And go back to the movie with Aunt Marcus' character, who was Queen's stepmama, the white slave master's wife. She was very abusive towards Queen, and even had her mama sold out the plantation because she was didn't like the fact that her husband kept going back in the slave bones to go sleep with Queen's mama. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't always rape, but it did happen. Okay, and the condition of the mother, you was a slave. Then it became the one drop rule later on, and then you had different states at 18%, 4% black, whatever you would consider black, aka black DNA. You had less privileges. That mess, okay? Supposed to know why that these people the laws were made. It wasn't based on biological. It was based on social class and how they put you in. That's what these are, these fifth and fourth and all that. It goes back to Mexican history with the Las Castas were the caste system of the Spaniards who put the white Spaniards from Spain on top, the ones who white Spaniards on the secondary category, the mestizos, mulattoes, sambos, lobos, those different mixed race people with black, white, black and native, white and native, all three triracial, how they figure out that was in the middle. Then you had the at the bottom the pure indigenous and the pure blacks of Mexico at the bottom. That's why they had the war against Spain, because it was racist. It classified who you were based on how they did the math, all that other stuff. I don't believe in that. Okay, I don't. That's what these people don't understand. These ideas come from. You can't measure someone's race. Yes, in DNA testing, but they're debunking it. The DNA tests don't always tell you your DNA. I made a video about that. That even Jessica Alba, we use that for example. They say she didn't have no black DNA. And there's a lot on her first DNA test. And when she went to another DNA company, guess what? On PBS, they revealed it. She does. So it's not credible. It's not, okay? But people like to use that once again to selfishly classify as an individual where they supposed to go. Well, like they slave master, they control. That's what it needs fifth and fourth and higher degree, because in Spanish and French colonies, even Louisiana, they had those quadroons, octoroons, whatever, to show who has more white DNA, who has more white blood. You have special privileges and civil rights. Okay, that's why I don't go along fifth and fourth, and it's all you more black and more. I don't go with that because I know what it's about. It's not about who you are. It's about what people want to see you as, and who want to press somebody, who want to give certain rights, and who also supposed to benefit at the top. That's what it's about. So people can hate when I tell you it is what it is, what it is, what it is. Now, okay. So when they did not classify Latinos with Mexican Americans escaped the one drop rule. One thing I understand about Latin America, there was no one drop rule and no premeditation of interracial marriages. People married. Yes, they didn't like the black man with a white woman at the time, or Native American man with a white woman, whatever. But in most experience, men mixed with the black woman and the American woman in Latin America. However, you had people married with each other, mulattoes married mestizos, a lot of black men, as I read in the Secretary of Mexico about African Mexicans in their article in their book back in '99 at Houston Public Library. A lot of Afro Mexican men who are Afro Mexican men who are either slave or unslaved, who are not slave, who are free, married Native American women. It was a big number of that. The Catholic Church encouraged that. At first, they didn't want the natives to. Then not. It wasn't by doctrine. Let's get this straight. By human beings making their own rules in the church in Mexico, not by in Rome. Okay, they didn't want the Native Americans and blacks to come together because the Native Americans had their own polytheist religions, the pagan religions, and so did the Africans. So they wanted to Christianize first in the Catholic Church and then marry because they wanted to pass their faith in. That's how, you know what I'm saying? So that's the difference. But anyway, they encourage it, and you see this melting pot in Latin America, this mixed heritage of all the races, the Spaniards, the natives, and the blacks. And interracial marriages is seen as not a bad thing, okay? And mixing seen as a good thing. One thing as a multiracial person, that's what I love about Latin America, is because of mixing, and I'm a part of it too, okay? Here in America, people look frown upon when I say I'm mixed. Well, I don't. Fuck them. I don't live for them. I'm glad I'm that blessing that came out the curse, okay? So anyway, I'm not here to kiss nobody's ass. I don't pay nobody way. Now, I'm very proud of being black and white and native and Hispanic origin. I'm very proud of my African American, French, Spanish, Creole, English, Irish, and Native American ancestry. That I am all that. Okay, very proud of it. Whatever else that I don't know about, I find out later on because of mystery when you know about your ancestry. I will still cling to it. Okay, it is what it is. So that's why. Now, these mixed race people who speak Spanish, okay, from Mexico, other parts of Latin America, will classify as white, okay? Do the trick right over there, ought to keep them American citizens. Remember that ought to be a citizen, you had to be white. Now, if he was with the 14th Amendment, that's why the 14th Amendment was there. Slaves were not considered citizens, okay? The African American people, our ancestors were Africans, were not, our white ancestors were, okay? But they had to put the 14th Amendment after slavery was ended because they had to say these people who were born here in the United States were American. Because they were trying to debate that black folks were not, and people who were African descent, period, mixed or not, were not Americans. Even though that every war African descent people fought in, including the Revolutionary War, a black Native American man, is why I celebrate 4th of July. Christopher Addicts, who mom was Native American, dad was black, fought and he jumped the bullet. The first one to fight in there was Christopher Addicts, who was black and American. Unlike the Bible show, he was black and American, biracial. Okay, I'm not with the one drop rule. Now, yes, and then he fight for his country. And I say his country because his mom was Native American. And he had people African here who built that White House. Okay? So, that's it too? Okay, both. And I always, like the picture, I always want to put on my Instagram of the Native American and the black man, which represent my roots, are both of them crying over white supremacy. I know it hurts. You know what I'm saying? And this is the reason why that white people don't want to teach our history together with our black and brown people, because they don't want to see the two come together, who've been hurt by the white American supremacy in 19 knock them out. Not because they're white, because those two racist policies. Why Trump, hello. Okay, now, there were signs in Texas that say no niggers or no Negroes and no Mexican and no dogs. Okay? But if you're told you're white, even though you're not treated as white and people know you ain't full blown white and you exotic looking, okay? You're gonna cling to that identity because you're taught that white is right. A lot of folks that know that during Jim Crow in Texas, not in California, Mexican Americans who are born here, okay, who adapt, not all, but those individuals who adapt to white supremacy in Texas had this thing. Well, they will be felt they were better than African American people, and I talk about this as a person who's for the multiracial movement. That I did not like how NAACP and Luke Ladd got together to stop this, because if anyone know the history, the good NAACP, not the modern day one that Benjamin Chavis distorted and messed it, threw it in the garbage, okay? When the good NAACP, when W. Boyce and Walter White was around, they try to reach out to LULAC. And here in Texas, you had LULAC was telling people in Washington to not mark them in Spanish as a separate category, to keep them as white. Okay? And you had Mexican Americans and other Latinos who adapted this mentality that white was better. And why would I be associated with these niggers? Okay? But you know what I'm saying? Elderly people who don't like me even talking, who deceased, because I'm going to the deceased right now, but when they was alive, who didn't like me having girlfriends who were Hispanic, not as Mexican, Puerto Rican, whatever, okay? Because back in Jim Crow, they would tell me stories in Houston, the back of the bus, a Mexican American would get on the bus and scream, I'm white, I'm sitting on the butt, I'm not no black, I'm not no that type of mentality, okay? That tragic mulatto, but actually after mestizo mentality, I call it the pochismo, the coconut, okay? Now, but the weird thing is that Mexican Americans were not treated as like white people because they weren't. They're not pure white, they're mixed, okay? Was the idea to keep them as citizens. That's the only thing that the white folks did. They didn't think that a lot of people from Mexico, Baceros, coming over here and remain and stay here. Because folks don't know the idea about black folks don't want to do the job because, yeah, we don't want to pick no damn cotton. God dog, and hell no, pick some strawberries and peppers. So what they did was got the migrant workers and underpaid them, mistreat them, who from Mexico, and made them work the cotton field in the peppers. And if I tell you a Mexican person say about picking cotton and tries, excuse me, you pick the cotton damn too. God dog it. Don't sit here. I said, well, since Trump president, whoever making racial evidence towards each other, so calling folks Mexican WLCK words, in the African called, in the Hispanic person calls African people the N word. Your job, all y'all should go pick peppers and cotton together in Trump plantation, aka the White House, and have a field day. What call that is make some fried chicken and tacos and all that and pig feet. You know what I'm saying? And eat what's the menudo or pozole, which is chitlins, because it's pig intestines, soup. God dog, I have a good time. It sure be some black and brown relationship then. Anyway, call it like it is. You can pick and strawberry and cotton together. Talking about I'm gonna be free someday, both in English and Spanish. Anyway, call like I had to go there. So what happened is during that time you had some Hispanics adapting to that white supremacy. You also had African American people adapt to anti-immigration, foreign, and anti-Hispanic, trying to please the white people. Okay? They felt that Mexican Americans do the colorism and exotic looks. And not all African American people look alike, but those who couldn't look exotic too much or whatever, that Mexican American who's lighter could try to get their jobs or get a headlight with the white person thing, but they still don't have the same thing the white person have. Weird. So anyway, so get to the point. During that time, Jose Vasconcelos, who was raised in Texas, born in Mexico, made a essay called La Raza Cosmica. And in that essay, as I read in the Encyclopedia of Mexico back in '99 about African Mexicans, they said that a lot of Afro Mexicans is assimilated into the race mixture, meaning mixed with mestizos. A lot of folks don't know that they got rid of the caste system and they got rid of all the records who was black or had black ancestry in Mexico. They felt it not needed because it was a racist caste system, okay? So they said we not native, Spaniard, mestizo, mulatto, whatever, black, we all Mexican, okay? And in a way, when people use Mexican even as a nationality, I can understand why they use it as a race because majority of people are racially mixed in Mexico, okay? Majority of people have mixed ancestry. Not everybody is pure native of Spain or either black, even though not all of them look black because all the race mixing and marrying a person that's not black or don't look black, okay? It is what it is, okay? Now, that's why you have Mexican American people. Some dude came up, we don't got no afro. Well, why do I see curly hair Mexicans? Um, we don't look like you. Why do I see people call me Jarocho Veracruz? Hello? In Costa Chica, Oaxaca, they just barely put the census in 2015 on Guadalupe Day, December 12th, that they put the Afro Mexican category on the census. Okay? They finally put it there. Um, a lot of Mexican Americans are now admitting, not a lot, but actually on that census they did 1 million people, wasn't a small percentage checking Afro Mexican. And you gotta understand that Mexicans from Mexico who are educated about this are not shy to talk about black folks in Mexico or black ancestors. And I that's why I know about the Jarocho, because when I was in the Job Corps in El Paso, Texas, the Mexicans from Juarez would tell me Jarocho, Jarocho, because it's darker Mexicans do their Afro DNA in Veracruz, which is where the slave population came in through the slave ship, right? Okay, Gaspar Yanga, he had the Nat Turner in Mexico because he was a black slave that fought the Spaniards, okay, and freed himself, okay, and co-founded Veracruz, okay. And a lot of folks, if a Mexican does hate black people, it's hating on themselves. Besides being having native and Spaniard and also black, because during the independence of Mexico in September, they shot Viva Morelos. Okay, Father Jose Morelos was Spaniard and native and black too. Okay, the state Morelos. Let me also say his full name. Father, because he was a priest. Father Jose Maria Morelos E. Pavon. And I met Mexican people with that last name who told me because he didn't follow his vows as a priest, being celibate, okay? Yes, he did. Was a rolling stone. That papa was a rolling stone. He had some kids. He fornicated. He could get married and have sex, right? Well, he violated God and the church. He sure did. And your last name Pavon, you need to check them records. Okay? But two Mexican people told me, two men, but the last name Pavon have told me they're descendant of Father Maria Morelos Pavon. And I said, hey, my brother, because I know that he was part black. Okay? So, yes, a lot of people don't know that. Okay, so if a person say I hate Mayates and shout on doing Mexican independence, Viva Morelos, you need to shut up, okay? Because he was part black, okay? Okay. He used to cover his hair because his hair was curly. Okay, go for real. I remember reading about that too. Oh, he wasn't kinky, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah, okay. Now, anyway, he's with, you know what I'm saying? But truth of the matter is, that's why. So, yeah, a lot of people gotta know about this. Yeah, because the white racist people don't teach us. Okay, so going back here in the United States, in the Chicano, because one thing people don't understand, the word Chicano was a negative term. A lot of people in Mexico do not like the term Chicano. But Mexican Americans use that term because they are born in the United States and it was a term of pride. It's no different in the African American community. You had color and Negro and People didn't want to be called Negro no more or colored, so they said word black because Negro in Spanish means black. Negro, negro. Okay, that's why. Okay, now about Amala Negra, cause La Negra means the female version of black. Okay, yeah. All right. All right. So, truth of the matter is, a lot of people don't know. And speaking of La Negra, there wasn't the only artist. Someone from Mexico named Tonya La Negra. She was Afro mestizo. They say she's mulata because of the way she looked. From Veracruz, I think. Yeah, she's from Veracruz as well. She was a mariachi singer. She was friend with Santa Cruz as well. And she was partially black ancestor and probably ancestry as well. She was Mexican. So, Doña La Negra. So before Amara La Negra came out with that term, okay, they had Doña La Negra from Mexico. Okay, call it like it is. Y'all got to know y'all. Okay, you can tell me a lot of history. And when I was at All That Music back in 2004, I was gonna buy that collection of Doña La Negra. That was a Spencer CD collection, and yes, I was going to buy that. I sure was because I was going to buy that for real. So, but truth of the matter is that's why. So let's get to the subject. So about Mexican history, okay, and African American people. This was the so was the second of people who bought into white supremacy, but we also had African American people who said the Mexicans should go back to Mexico, buy into their Anglo Kuna mentality, okay? Not knowing that Mexico opened its doors because not to going back to the history again and changing dates. Okay, switching dates. What I'm talking about right now. When I say that, when Texas got stolen, okay, and everybody know the story of the Yellow Rose of Texas. Santa Anna was fighting for us too, okay, because about slavery in the Alamo, okay. When he fell in love with the mulata, the Yellow Ball, Texas, Emmy Morgan West, Washburn Tunnel, Ship Channel right there, where I'm from the east side, where I'm originally from, okay, by Pasadena area, okay. Um, that area, yes, okay, that's where he got caught, which I wanted to take an Uber over there and get, because I can put it on my social media. He also was drugged. Sam Houston gave him drugs, and this is what I was telling the Mexican man. I said, no, he didn't betray Mexico. No. The only betrayed Mexico because he was in lust in sex. Even in the, that's why you have a lot in drugs. Problems with rich people. When they get money, they get the drugs. Some of these people, like the celebrities, get the drugs, the sex, and then they run out of money, and they forget focus, they end up being broken on the street. Okay, the same thing with Santa Ana. He was an alcoholic. He was my hero, alcoholic he is. He had issues with women, meaning he was sexually active. Okay, he had, I think, married many times, and so he saw this old yellow bone exotic woman who was mulatto. He picked her up and took her, and they caught him with his drawers. Oh, okay. So I think, yeah, thank you. So that's how he portrayed Mexico. Not really. It was tent. But I tell y'all who doing kush and smoking weed, at least when I do my drugs, it keeps me focused. Like ginkgo biloba and gato kula, whatever it's called, and ginseng, and what's the other one? Caffeine. I don't do no drugs, no crack, whatever. I'm always focused, extremely focused. And I keep a good memory of those things because thank you. Now, I'm not taking no kush, no 420 weed, crack, and none of that mess, okay? Boning fluid and all that other crap. That screw your brain up. It's like I'm sounding like Joe Clark. We told their brother, it fries your brains. Jump! No, Mr. Clark, jump! Okay, well, y'all be doing it, y'all jumping. So he jumped. He showed that jump. He forgot when he lost the focus and he lost the war. And that's a sad thing because he was fighting for us and fighting for Mexico too. So anyway, a lot of people don't know the history. They don't know the history about this. Okay, so a lot of people. There were people after me sent. Even Tom Blue, who was in Ashu, they were slaves of Sam Houston. They went to Mexico. Okay, a lot of people that don't know that Mexico opens door for African American people. For example, like the Black Seminoles who didn't want to be slaves. Okay, and you have people from Creole, Louisiana, leaving New Orleans and going to Mexico because of slavery in Louisiana. Same thing. Mexico opens doors to African people, and that's why I support DACA, because I don't forget where I come from. That's why I don't with that black and brown look at people as individuals, not as a group. Okay, so but going back to the situation, when you have African people saying that the Mexicans should go back and call for us wetback, we was the wet blacks in that Rio Grande too, where we had to get away from massa. Would you ever be called a nigga and be lynched and all that other stuff, or being in another country, you can speak a different language and be free? I'll choose to speak another different language and be free. So when I hear a black person, African people call a Mexican person wetback, it gets me to say like the word nigger, okay? Because that Rio Grande was our Underground Railroad. They don't teach it. They don't talk about Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman going to Canada was not the only one, okay? Mexico was our Underground Railroad too. Um, and once again, Anglo white racist school systems screwing up people's heads and only teaching white American Protestant history. Okay. So, anyway, let's get to the subject there now. Okay. So a lot of these folks were saying it to get back at the Mexican people who was taking sides with white people, and white people use two different groups to fight. Even watching the movie Glory Road about Don Hawkins. I was in El Paso when that movie was made. Yeah, it was Western Tech. That's now today UTEP. Okay, University of El Paso, Texas. El Paso, yeah, UTEP. University of Texas in El Paso. Try to say, excuse me. When it was Western Tech, when the brothers came in there to play their basketball team, and the white folks got a conversation, what the Chicano dude, the one who being Pocho, started defending. Okay, here we go with a screwed up mentality. And when I mentioned Jose Vasconcelos, this one thing that Dominican woman keep coming on my channel who's chemistry friend, and I'm gonna break a video about that. Why that's the African American people going to your country saying it's racist because it goes along with this thing. The Erasmus Cosmo essay not only affected Mexico, it affected all over Latin America, and it was celebrating a mixed race. But in that essay, it says that it was talking about the constructed race mix, like purposely race mix. So the Negro race will go away and spawn the new mestizo, which why you see more Mexican people look more aka mestizo, but sometimes have some black features like big lips, some admixture here and there, okay? Because and I do believe that he said that because about that one drop rule while he was in the United States. Because he lived in Texas in Brownsville, I think, one period of time, Jose Vasconcelos, and learn about the one drop rule. If your people going to suffer that, you're going to tell your people not to marry no black person like George Lopez. You know what I'm saying? You going to, exactly. So the same thing with, well, it also affected the Dominican Republic too because, excuse me, who gave Trujillo the idea? It was around that time. It make a lot of sense, and a lot of Latin countries did pick it up. About even though it was extreme, like in the Caribbean, but in the Dominican Republic, it was a racist history with the heel who was part Haitian and part Dominican, mulatto, or African descent. He had anything in him, who was killing Haitians and also Afro Dominicans in the Republic and claimed to be white. Okay, this is no different. We see is going on with some poachers and gangs. Same dang on thing. Trying to do it, trying to ethnic cleansing. He was doing the same thing. That's why we must understand that's the whole reason why the Haiti and the Republic situation going on. Okay. Even Haiti, the lighter skinned mulattoes people do not want to do darker people. That's why they don't have no resources. And even the hurricane and also the earthquake, the same doggone thing. Okay, for real. So yes. So that's the whole reason why. Colorism as well was affected with that. The Native American look or African look, look as dirty to white folks. Well, people who look more like white people in Mexico or any other Latin country or Caribbean country have all the money. Okay, fresa, freso. Okay, yeah. Okay, so And that's why you see more ethnic looking Mexicans. White looking Mexicans. That's like every blue moon, okay, or any Latin people, because in those countries, those white looking Latinos who are mixed but they look white, they're the ones who have all the money, okay. That even in Telemundo and Univision and soap operas, they portray them have the money, and the African or indigenous looking people who are the maids or the help. Okay, because in those countries, like, and it's not just like, it's even the Caribbean country, the white Haiti, that 5% of mulatto identified people who are high class, high yellow, okay, they control Haiti. They're not giving the Haitians who are darker, who look more like Kodak Black or look less but still don't look like them, any money. And say in Jamaica with skin bleaching going on, the same damn thing. The people who like Colin Powell parents, who are Jamaican, who like almost like white people, they control Jamaica. Okay, the woman who slept with Bob Marley, she looks so exotic looking, like a dark haired white woman, or she could pass for Hispanic. Exotic. His mistress. She was the beauty queen back in 1950 or 70, whatever them dogs. Damien Marley's mom. That's what people talk about colorism. Okay? But unfortunately, it's not extreme because it's not white supremacy society. Let me explain what it is. Because you don't have pure white people or people who cling to whiteness and who are mixed, but they make sure their children look like white people, not say a light and a dark, like we do in our community, okay? You know what I'm saying? They're controlling the Americas, okay? The American population. You know what I'm saying? The people in Latin America are mixed, and it's just the ones who look close to white, it usually is promoted, even beauty pageants, okay? But in America, we have white people, real white people, or those who can pass and ain't saying they got nothing in them, who look it, okay? They're control of everything, okay? And they don't want nobody of color to have anything, okay? Because this is legacy of especially the ancestors here as slave masters. The money they made from slavery is transcended to them. That's their old money, okay? Their inheritance, okay? It is what it is. Now, so as I'm saying about the Mexican Americans and like the African Americans may not get along, you gotta understand that Cesar Chavez, when he was a migrant worker, was underpaid. The laws were harassing him too. Okay, in California, and you gotta understand that he was. You had Mexican Americans who was in the Chicano movement trying to do the same thing what Martin King was doing as well. A lot of people know the Brown Birds and the Black Panthers were friends. Cesar Chavez and Martin King was trying to get together in 1960 before Martin King was killed. The Puppy March. The Puppy March consisted of white people who were poor, Hispanics, both Puerto Rican and Mexican, and African American people and Native Americans. And he was going to get the Vietnam War, which 19 got him killed as well. Martin King. He said about the government. I don't think the white man that accused that James Earl Ray. I don't think he killed. I think it was the people in the government who was upset that he was going against the Vietnam War. Okay. Besides him causing integration in society. So when he died, the Southern Coalition Christian leadership told the Mexican American Chicano movement that we don't need you. We don't want you. We got our own issues. And that's when this separation started again. You gotta understand that a lot of African American and Hispanic people don't know their history well. Both parties. We had a sister who was part of the integrations in Brown versus education, and I had to mention in my Facebook that the sister was a freedom fighter just like the Little Rock Nine and the Mendez. And if you want to know who the Mendez are, before Brown versus education, the Mendez was a Mexican Rican family in California because Sylvia mama was Puerto Rican, her dad was Mexican American. they would classify that her mom, due to ignorance, as Mexican. So this was the idea of calling Hispanic people who are not Mexicans, Mexican, okay? Salvadoran, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Cuban, Colombian. This the same. Okay, well they classify her as Mexican, okay, because they had a category for one period of time, and they didn't realize that Sylvia Mendez's mom was Puerto Rican, married to a Mexican man, okay, and Mexican Americans, other Hispanics, particularly Mexican Americans, in this case, this is a Mexican family, could not go to white schools, and they fought against in the Mendez versus Westminster's case, which allowed Hispanics to go to white schools in 1930s and 40s and stuff as well. That's why you had schools that were integrated, had Mexicans, they're white, they had Mexicans and other Hispanic people there because of that uh, court case. Now, since Mexican Americans and the Latinos, you understand that we, African Americans and people, Hispanic people don't read their history as much. I'm calling it like this. It's funny that a multiracial person, and both communities are multiracial, but this one identify with multiracial identity, okay, and have multiracial roots, they're very proud of, do a lot of research and read, okay, outside of that white, racist, ratchet American classroom with 3Ks in, okay? So, and this is the reason why y'all talking about how that white woman was talking bad. Look, and she's a history teacher. Who really? Y'all shot? I saw that. I have a gift for discernment. As a kid, I had that, and it's like a gift. I have a gift for discernment. Someone I know is not right. I feel it. Okay. I was told to go. God told me, I saw psychic thing, to go outside the classroom and read these books. Read outside. Think. Use hypotheses. Guess. Find out. Those are educational things. Okay. Now, I'm sorry to make our video, but you're not discussing these things to Negrito Grande, okay? During that time, there was gangs in both communities, okay? Because of economic power. And here my hypothesis, I bet it has something to do with Reagan in California. Reagan was a politician in California. He became the president. That's where crack cocaine came in. Here we go with the African American people blaming Hispanics. Not just Mexicans, Cubans, Puerto Ricans. Oh, they must have sound dope, because what it was, then after the CIA people went to those communities of the drug cartels, okay, and got the drugs from them, and then put this image of a Hispanic person selling dope, okay, and that's what and target African American people, but also it target Latinos here. The idea was to kill and cause genocide, but and then the white had the black and brown racism, the white gang that's laying with the Hispanic gang, and vice versa with the black. Excuse me, let me tell you why. Because they don't want to see two groups come together, because if those two groups come together, they can knock out the white racist gang. I ain't gonna say who it is. Fill the blank. The idea the CIA was involved. The idea that they was afraid that these minorities will be the future of society, and white people would no longer be the majority. Okay? So what do? If you're scared your population's down, you will cause riffraff between the communities that you're afraid is going to overpopulate. Besides abortion clinics with the Planned Parenthood targeting minorities, okay? Besides the crack cocaine, and then too, those communities that were mostly white, they got integrated with African and Hispanic people, but they became ghettos and barrios and hood and all the projects, because those people voted, because a lot of those minorities didn't go out and vote. They'll vote the presidential election, but not vote the local election to keep those resources there. White people who didn't want them to have the resources vote for the resources to be out, so those schools in a community can go down the drain, and they can make an argument that integration and diversity is wrong. You see what I'm saying? Same thing with Lean On Me. Go back, even those Puerto Ricans in this mess, even though in this, in Lean On Me situation with Joe Clark, it was a white school when he had an afro, but when African American and Hispanic people moved in, Here we go. People blame each other about all those Puerto Ricans, those Spanish people that come in here bringing drugs, and all them black folks, those Negroes, the Negroes come. Okay, can't blame each other. Can't blame when you have people participate, but the white people who are racist are providing those drugs there. So both for the minorities. And look how that school turned out. They wanted to get rid of Joe Clark because he had fixed that school. Because they were closing that school because most of the African American Hispanic students there, African Pacific people and Hispanic students there at Eastside High was not passing. If the school is failing, they're not gonna fund it. Okay? You can come to school and pass by coming, but you're not. If the test scores are low, they're cutting off the benefits and their school's closing down. They need Joe Clark to go there, and that's what happened. So, folks understand, same thing in Hispanic schools and African schools here in Houston and same thing in California. Your school system's failing. There's gang violence, it's drug violence, because people in the community are not voting locally. Okay? They're voting president, think that it's on top. No. The people around you matter. Because of white people who are racist, who don't want you to have the resources, will vote and try to blame the reason why you there based on your genetics, your biology, as an excuse. Okay? And then they'll come in and bring drugs there, and when there's no jobs there. The reason why Latino gang members became gang members because they couldn't take care of their families. And African American people, same thing. When they move into those East Los Angeles and South Central and Compton, those were white areas. Okay? When they integrated in the red line, white people lived out. Let me let you example. The famous white and also mixed with Native American, but known as white through the blood quantum BS. Okay, Kevin Costner from The Bodyguard. He was born in Compton when Compton was white. Okay, when African American and they don't Hispanic, he will come there. They left. Do you see what I'm saying? Y'all get my point? Okay. Those resources went down. If people are not voting, okay, and not providing jobs there, they're going to go down. And guess what they're going to do? The drug dealers, who are white people who own the drugs, who own the airplanes, are going to go there behind closed doors and say, since you're not making any money, how do you make money for me? And it's getting poisoned. And then they'll fight amongst each other because if one drug dealer sells more, it's like Burger King and McDonald's. If I own a Burger King and you own a McDonald's and I don't want you to, I have to shoot you down because you're making my money go away. That's what's going on in California. It's not just race. It's like the movie Get Rich Not Trying with 50 Cent, who's African Cent, and the Hispanic people who are Colombian. When that Latino man came in 50 Cent's corner, what did he shot him. That's what's going on in California. Okay? If I come there and sell dope in the Latino community, he's afraid that I'm going to steal money. Vice versa. If I look, let me mestizo look, I'm Spanish Creole. But let's say I look if I was Mexican, okay? And had that stereotypical look. Come to the African American community, a brother going to try to shoot me. Because in the same thing, they kill each other. You have Latinos killing each other. You have Africans because they don't want it goes back to St. Paul saying in the Bible, the love of money is rule all evil. Okay? So if you take the money and resources, and then the only jobs you're giving to is shithole jobs, cleaning, slave work jobs, and you have no education, you've been locked up. Okay, you had a child out of wedlock. Okay, that mess. You're gonna sit here and try to get those jobs. A person who didn't have those problems, who went to school, graduate, who went to college, are not gonna argue about a job that's low wage. So you're not talking about that. That's why if the people in those communities will stop being in the stereotype, no offense, being on welfare on purpose, in gang violence, whether it be thugging out, trolling out, or whatever, doing drugs, selling dope, okay, being the white racist dream, okay, that those communities will strive for the best. But right now, what's going on? Gentrification. Because white people who own real estate, who vote in vote those districts that have in those areas that have resources, are now saying these African American people and these Hispanic people are not making our money. They're going in and out of jail. They're killing each other. They're fighting. They're doing this. They're acting like animals. We don't want them here. Trump's going to be president. So what we'll do, we're going to tax out. They don't have no insurance in their houses. They don't have no, they cannot get a regular high paying position because of economic barriers such as immigration status. Not only that, but also those who are born here who don't have that problem, who have drug convictions, felonies, that situation. Well, guess what? We're going to do? We're going to tax out their house they cannot pay, and we'll take care of the barrio. We'll take care of the hood. We'll take care of the ghetto, and we'll kick their asses out. That's what they're saying. Is it took, you know what I'm saying? But they the one kept being the puppeteer of this mess about causing drugs and gang violence, because the idea of shooting and that Latino woman saying that she had to learn how to dodge bullets before read a book, because it's called genocide. They want the African American people and Hispanic people to lose population control. All that's about the border. That's not about a Mexican jumping from or Salvadoran jumping a border. What it's about is population control. A lot of Latinos are not practicing birth control or abortions. Their birth rate is high. White racist people are scared of that. You African people who sit here think that while when it be a race fight, unlike the black Seminoles cross the Rio Grande, where your ass gonna go? Cross the ocean to Africa? To the Caribbean? To Asia? No, you gonna drunk and be a shark's dinner? Really? It is not about that. They align with the white supremacists. Both of y'all are. No, let's get to it. When you sit here saying Trump, like this, Donald Trump, and this, and then you have Latino Trump, talking about they gonna shut down Black Lives Matter and all that stuff, when there's a Latino Lives Matter. Really? You don't know about that? Truth of the matter is, both are participating in white supremacy. That's why I said in my video in years that there's no such thing that no one cannot be racist based on their minority status. I don't agree with that mess. Yes, white people in America have power to be racist in this country. At the same time, minorities don't, but they participate in that power. So they just as guilty. That's why you have black on brown racism. If you're not held these people accountable for calling somebody a nigger or a mayate or a wetback or a speck, at the same time, you let them get away with it, they're not going to feel guilty about that. But white person, okay, because the historical, okay, so you're saying, so the next part of history, a person of color, it's going to be in the same power with like the white person, into the same doggone thing. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. Mexico has nothing to do with this. These are Mexican American people. Yeah, they're undocumented immigrants who came here who've been Americanized. But Mexico don't care about them either. You know what I'm saying? It's the truth. You hear Kim Rasheed talk about all the time. I know that because I hang around mostly immigrants. I have Mexican American friends. But funny that I get along with the immigrants because they're not buying into that doggone racial politics in America. They know it's full of bullshit. My channel is against that. You know, it's a black. I'm not pure black. I'm mixed. And a white man who's a racist ain't my God. And I can care less. A white person did not see me as mixed. I don't want to be friends with that person. I don't want to have cousins who are white due to my ancestry. And I know I live in Houston. There are rednecks. I don't want to go and be friends with them. Actually have a family get together with them. No, they might set my ass up or cause some shit. Really? You gotta let people think in your own mind. But anyway, But that's why the immigrants who don't buy into the racial bullshit here in the United States, I get along with. It's the Chicanos who've been brainwashed in that, and they don't understand that the Chicanos who are, they don't realize they're getting played by that. It's like I told one Chicano guy, is you making black anti-black jokes with that white person, you're the WICK to him. Did you know that? The same white person coming in, oh, man, I said, excuse me, don't you talk to me about Mexican people. Excuse me, I'm part Latino too. And even though I'm not Mexican, but I'm also African American, I'm a person of color too, just like they are. Because when you leave this room, you're going to say the word nigga behind my back. I know you are. The idea of white people do not like nobody. True white supremacists do not like anybody that's not white. Okay? You think, you know what I'm saying, the Minuteman, that's a race and people don't know, that's Ku Klux Klan, the Minuteman. And there was a dark skinned brother part. Really, bro? They had a brother with a Confederate flag talking about, what? Really? Trump, these, no white folks don't care about your, white people don't care about your damn ass. You over here to hate on Mexican people, or you hate on African. They using your black and brown asses to fight one another so they don't have to do their job. See, this is what they do. They'll get an African American person or Hispanic person to fight amongst each other so they can do their job for them. That's the whole idea. They letting all that gang violence down there because if they really want to do it, they'll do it themselves. The idea Ku Klux Klan was coming to Pasadena and Anaheim was to tell both communities, and it was a stupid thing to me on the African American and Hispanic people because all this time y'all been calling y'all niggas and wetbacks. You've been green lighting and killing each other like our clans. Calling each other wetback and nigga and speak and monkey and all these things. So when the Klan shows up that you got this mentality from, you want to come together and sing kumbaya. That was the stupidest thing. I like hypocrites. But you've been silent all this time about that. And all those to the Blaxican people, I want to talk about this. The Blaxican people in California. Why y'all not talking about this? As a Spanish Creole brother, why my Hispanic was from Louisiana? Why it came out of Spain to Louisiana? Why you not talking about this? Since you're a product of black and the only one knows accent who's black and Mexican. The rapper Zinga, you know, I talked about her on my video, and Kima Blaxican. But I rarely hear people of African American and Hispanic origin talking about Stacey Dash, Sheila E., okay, Nicole Rich, call it like this. Why y'all not talking about this stuff? Why y'all hush about this subject? You know, you need to be talking about African American and Hispanic community. Stacey Dash, who's part black and part Mexican, is running for Congress in California. And my issue is, even though I'm not trying to support on like her campaign, but if you're so thrilled about running for California, can I ask you a question, Mr. Dash? Do you care about your communities? They're struggling. You have your African American and Hispanic people struggling, fight each other, get locked up. You're cooling for these white people like you who are Trump supporters. Hollywood, they want you. They don't want you either. You go around California, baby, please help your communities. I mean, it'd be nice to see a Blaxican woman in California to win the election. Don't get it wrong, but what her platform is, it's not even good. It's a Trump supporting platform. But besides cooning, pocha, malachista, cooning, and Jemima for Trump, can you please help your communities, Miss Stacey Dash? Your mother is Mexican, your father's African American descent and Bahamian, okay? Help your communities. And that's one thing I like to ask Mr. Dash. You live in California, you're from New York, but you lived in California for years, and you know about the black, and you are the product of that. of black and brown male, African and African American, Hispanic, Mexican descent. Why you're not talking about these subjects? Because if I was in California, I'd vote for you. I would. I would vote for Stacey. I sure would. If she was going to stop this mess. That's more important. Your communities are striving. Inspire sisters and Latino sisters to try to be in your shoes in Hollywood. You know? But it is what it is. But that's what I gotta say. I gotta tell y'all. I'll talk more about this. You want me to talk about this, y'all? But I will talk about this later about this black and brown situation. I'm gonna make a video about Dominicans as well because this Dominican woman keep coming on my channel. She love chemistry. You know what I'm saying? And she don't know why I bash him a lot. But also too, I see on both sides. I see that because in my case, I will admit that if these brothers go to the Dominican Republic and say this racist country, and we know about the video in the Dominican Republic, why are you going there? Why are you sleeping with women? I do agree with that. Okay. But at the same time, there is historical reference in that because it's very true. Even Mala Negra, who's Dominican, talks about that. So, and Cardi B, so y'all gotta get it. Come on, let's be real, okay? Anyway, y'all, I gotta go. I will elaborate on this as much as I can, make the video, but I had to disagree with Negrito on this video because you're not talking about the politics, the education, and the historical backup of this. That's more important. Anyway, y'all, have a nice day.